Hey, welcome to the second Photics TV podcast. This one's about the WWDC 2024 keynote, and it's a summary of that keynote. But maybe I don't actually have to do that. Hey Siri, summarize the WWDC 2024 keynote. Boop, boop. Nope, she's not ready yet. But maybe one day she will be, because Apple Intelligence was the big highlight of the keynote. And I think that was cute of Apple. It's not artificial intelligence, it's Apple Intelligence. But I think the tagline is something that we need to see as humans, right? AI for the rest of us. You have this dystopian vision of the future that we're building the machine that's going to kill us all. It was nice to see something refreshing, like, hey, can we think of the people and their needs first? So it was nice to see basic features like, oh, it can rewrite your emails or summarize a web page or proofread something you've written before. That's friendly. I like that. It doesn't. I see these videos about robots twisting into weird positions, like it's Terminator come to life. This was refreshing to see Apple just take a thoughtful approach to how to use these new tools. And you could see that in Safari with some basic stuff that could, I mean, if you're short on time and you want to summarize something, you can go to a web page and be like, oh, there's a highlight and there's a summary. I'm looking forward to see how that works. I might go back to old Photics TV articles and see what happens. So that's something could be useful. But clearly, Apple Intelligence was the keynote, right? So if you could look at it, the good and the bad, well, clearly the bad is that the first part seemed rushed. I didn't see much to get excited about with Apple Vision Pro, iOS, iPadOS, macOS. It was to me, it felt like the company changed directions, just like everyone else looked at what happened with AI in the last year. It was like, oh, we gotta catch that, right? So, but then again, it's just like Apple's putting their spin on it, and they have like this design perspective, right? So it was weird to see $1 trillion company talking about like slight adjustments to app icons on the home screen. I don't care. My background is black. It's just a black screen. I don't need these fancy wallpapers or not. So maybe it's exciting to you, but to me, it just felt kind of low energy. And clearly my friends didn't, they agreed because they were mocking it. I'm getting text messages about how it was to summarize, basically disappointing. And I think part of that is, why are they still doing this like pre-recorded? Where's the audience? Where are the developers? This is a developer conference. So I mean, I think it's kind of funny to see like Craig do parkour, or at least his stunt double do parkour through the Apple headquarters. But that's like them having fun. I think it's important for them to show how their products will allow you to have fun, which I guess goes into the good, right? So they have this new feature called Genmoji, which is ridiculous. You're using cutting edge AI technology to create more emoji. But it was nice to see a not scary tech demo related to AI. Again, going back to the robots that look like Terminators. Can we think about the people? Where like AI should be a tool for humans. It shouldn't be the last thing humans invent and then we die. It's ridiculous. So if it's going to be a utopia or a dystopia, I think it starts here, where the companies that actually have the resources to build friendly tools for humanity. This was Apple doing it. That's what I liked about it. I was like, oh, maybe my friends thought it was low key, but from my perspective, and I've been, I can be pretty harsh on Apple. I'm not an Apple fanboy. When they do something good, I say, oh, that was good. When they do something bad, you can look at the videos on the channel. I've let people know, but I did like the emphasis on privacy. Right, it's the idea that on-device AI, that I like that. I want to see how that works, because if it doesn't need to go to the cloud, why? I don't like the idea that these companies are just gobbling up data like they're Pac-Man, right? Who knows what they're going to do with all the data eventually? But so So Apple has said their emphasis on privacy. What does that mean in practice? I don't know, but it certainly felt better than what I saw with Microsoft Recall. And judging from the recent videos I've seen on YouTube, it shows you a contrast between Apple and the other tech companies, which I think is a good step. I want to see more of that. Right? Well, what would the European Union think, or even the United States government think about AI integration at the OS level? Is that going to be an anti-competitive thing? I don't know where this is going to go, but I think like that's Apple's unique way to bring AI to people, to do something that other people can't. But it didn't seem like they were saying, "Hey, we're not going to play with ChatGPT." That was actually a big part of the keynote. That's going to be like another thing. And I guess probably one of the few hints of actual information for developers. How does your AI, your advanced stuff where you need the cloud, how does that plug into Apple? And again, I think there's that first step. So I think they need to exist, right? They can't just. I don't like the idea that we got Apple's bad because they have so much money. No, they've built some nice stuff, and we want to keep them. We want to see them keep growing, right? We want to keep seeing them doing good things. And of all the AI stuff I've seen recently, this is the only one that I've seen that didn't like maybe not frighten. I don't think that's the word. Like when you look at it, it's like an uneasy feeling. Like you feel like, ooh, that's bad. I don't like what, like it goes to, like the next bullet point here is AI going to kill us all? Like I feel like this is the first step I've seen where it humanizes AI, where it's more of a tool for humanity. So, but then again, I just the way I feel like they're still in the early stages. They haven't really figured out what it's going to do. So, I mean, of course, like we don't know how far it goes, but initially, like just when computers were like the desktop computer was first introduced, they would tell like for women, oh, you can use it to store your recipes. No, they're called books. And I'm seeing these commercials like, oh, you can have AI read your kid bedtime stories. No, they're called books, right? So I don't want to see a tool that's looking for a solution. It's got to be like, it's got to have a reason to exist. Like, what is it? What am I actually going to use? And I think Apple did that. It's AI that I might actually use. I'm looking forward to seeing it because a lot of this, I guess, it's a big concern on YouTube. Are we going to see like fake voiceovers and fake characters and whatnot? And so you voted 82% say that we love your voice. So hey, thank you. That's nice to see. Right? I think people still appreciate authenticity, especially now that like AI is getting better, but it's still in that uncanny valley stage. It's still just maybe there are tech demos that are amazing, but so far, I think people still want to see that. Now, what is that going to mean in the long term? Are all videos going to be generated by AI? These are big questions. But at least it was nice to see Apple take a step towards what would make life more simple for you, and more practical use of AI, I think, which was nice. But it certainly is concerning, that's for sure. And so one of my big concerns is, well, okay, Apple's got this new feature, but is it actually going to work? Right? Because I got a pretty old Mac. I got a 2018 Mac Mini, and that didn't make the list. So I need an M1 Mac Mini or later. But I do have the MacBook Air M1, so at least I will be able to play with Apple Intelligence when it's available in US English, coming in beta this fall. That's what the website says. So it's... That's the name of the game. I mean, you got to have that perspective that Apple wants you to keep buying their gadgets, right? So the list, if you have an older Mac that's like not an M1, that this is the cutoff, right? So if you want to use Apple Intelligence and you have the old Mac, But again, I think they have that chip that's designed for it. So I don't think that's unfair. As someone who spent a lot of money on a 2018 Mac Mini, I don't feel too bad about this cutoff because I knew it was coming. But if I look at the one of the later slides, and I'll show you, it's at least my Mac is going to get the new Mac OS update. And also my old iPhone. So there's iOS 18, right? That's at the bottom of the list is my iPhone SE second generation or later. So it's nice to see that I can, keep that around one more year with the latest operating system. Who knows how long it will stay there? Maybe is this the last year? I don't know. But I'm not ready to buy a new phone yet, especially with all these Apple. There's a lot changing. I want to see something like because you go back here with the Apple Intelligence, iPhone 15 Pro Max, right? So that's a pretty steep cutoff for Apple Intelligence. If you have like an iPhone 14, too bad, right? So I feel like the longer I can push my Apple devices, the more value I get out of them. So because they are expensive, but and that was one of the main things for like iOS this time around. They're still focusing on like emoji and cute little text animations and text messages. I think I saw something about RCS being a thing, so which was a complaint from an earlier podcast. So we'll see how that turns out. But it wasn't a highlight. No, like Apple being friendly with Android users is so there's like a tiny little note there. But and gaming, like that was a big part of the keynote was or at least they tried, right? I wouldn't say it was big. Maybe it was, but I tuned out at the one point when they start talking about Apple gaming, and I'm a gamer. It just doesn't click with me for some reason. And I don't know why, but it was nice to see that there's going to be a game mode on iPhone. So that what they say is game mode minimizes background activity to sustain consistently high frame rates for hours of continuous gameplay. I play Crossy Road. My phone handles it fine. So I just think like it would have been nice to see Apple Arcade news there or something. It's just like there are games coming. It's probably better than it's been, but it's still not enough. Like if you're saying as a gamer, I'm more looking forward to the next Nintendo, the successor to the Switch, than I am seeing there was no Apple game console. There was nothing to really, as a gamer, to say, "Ooh, maybe I should get that instead." No, I didn't see any of that. And so, as mentioned earlier, so macOS again. Why do they give them such weird names? Like hard to pronounce. Like even this year is like probably worse than last year's. Sequoia. Can't you just say like 15 or something? I guess that was a weird thing too, right? If you say 15, it feels old to macOS like iOS 18. Right, so if you say macOS 15, does it seem less important? It's naming. I don't worry about it too much. I'm just happy to see that my Mac Mini 2018 is on the list. So one more year at least, buddy. But there were some good features, and will they work with my Mac? I don't know. But that part where, like, I guess, like the non-AI feature that was at least a wow was that you can use your iPhone from your Mac, which I guess as a developer, that can be very convenient with testing. But just in general, the fact that, it says here, access your iPhone anytime using the iPhone mirroring app in the dock. You can fully interact with your iPhone and its apps wirelessly using your Mac keyboard, trackpad, or mouse. So that's awesome, right? So I don't know if it's going to work, but maybe I can play Crossy Road from my Mac. I don't know. It's always, I don't know why Hipsterwell didn't release a native Mac app, and that was one of the big things too. Is like Apple wants to help you port your games to Mac and eventually the mobile devices. But if Hipsterwell, their beloved friend there, right? If Hipsterwell doesn't have a Mac app of Crossy Road, that's a missed opportunity. So if they can't even make that happen, how is I as a gamer supposed to respect you? So, I mean, come on, Apple. I want to see you do better. But another one I liked was, and this, I can't believe this wasn't a thing on Mac for so many years, because the Mac OS, it's my preferred operating system. It's very friendly, but the Windows feels so floaty, right? And you'd have to go get like a third-party solution to solve it. But apparently, easy window tiling is coming to Mac OS. So it says, drag windows to the edge of your screen to effortlessly arrange them into side-by-side tiles on your desktop, which is wonderful. I'm looking forward to testing that out. Hopefully that works. But another big highlight from the iPad side was the calculator. Like there's going to be a calculator app on iPad, which is like, ooh, right? And apparently there was a big no-no with Steve Jobs to just take a calculator and make it bigger, which pretty much looks like what they did. They just took a calculator and made it bigger. But who cares? If you need a calculator and all you have is your iPad, it's nice to have the option. And it's nice that, they have the advanced math buttons there. And I think there's a history. But the bigger highlight was Math Notes with Apple Pencil. Like it was what they say is evaluate expressions, assign variables, and even plot graphs with Apple Pencil, just as you would on paper. And so I was watching the demo, and it's like they would write an equation and just draw an equal sign, and it would do the math for them. I was like, whoa! But then again, I'm like yelling at the TV watching this. I'm like, I don't use a note. I don't use this to take notes. But then again, there I was taking notes. It could be useful if that's your thing. Like even though we use computers, if it's still your preference to write things down rather than type them, because I was typing, I wasn't using an iPad to take notes. But maybe let me know in the comments. Is this actually useful to you? Because Apple seemed to put a lot of work into it. I'm not. It doesn't motivate me to buy an iPad, but it was impressive to see. That looked like magical, right? That was a big Apple thing. And the reason why I don't get excited because I know I need to buy a new iPad in order to use these features, because I have there's the limit is iPad Air M2, but I don't have an M2. I just have a 2. Right? I have an iPad Air 2, so it's not getting iPadOS 18. So it's hard to get excited about iPad features, knowing that I need to spend several $100s to access them. Am I really going to use it? Probably not, but. That was like, if you were waiting to see the keynote for a reason to buy an iPad, maybe if this is your thing, that might do it. But for me, it was still a no-go. And so I guess that's the main question. Was it a good keynote? So Apple was playing catch up with AI, and it looks like, it doesn't look like they're first place, right? I mean, but they're catching up. So we'll see how it, and it certainly looks like it's going to be gradually rolled out. It's not going to be like, September and you're going to have all these awesome features. So it's more of a cautious approach. And so that's the way I feel about it. Like, I don't know if it's good, but I'm kind of optimistic and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. But overall, if you're looking just like the general OS improvements, those were minor, but nice, I guess. Nothing too exciting. I mean, some stuff here and there that I'm looking forward to trying, but it's not like, it's the massive one. Snow Leopard. I don't think it's the Snow Leopard OS level, but and the iPads are still limited, which is disappointing. So it wasn't a reason for me to say, "Ooh, iPad, I gotta have that." I would still rather have a MacBook Air. I think that one is just superior to an iPad. So if you're looking to save money and you got to pick between the iPad or the laptop, I still like the laptop. Overall, I think the event was good for consumers. I felt like, hey, it was more towards, or at least the keynote. There's other stuff going on after the keynote that maybe we'll find out later. Well, is there anything good? Because Swift 6 was mentioned. In one point of the keynote, there was a shadow of the Swift logo flying over the Apple campus. And I was like, is that all we're going to talk about with Swift? It's Swift 6. Why? Why do we have to go to another number up? What's so great about it? You wouldn't find out in the keynote. But there was one feature I thought was kind of interesting, Tabletop Kit. One of the next big projects being considered for Photics is creating cross-platform games and AR games, like a board game. And the big problem I'm having is locating a table so the game can sit on top of the table virtually, right? So Apple has Tabletop Kit to make that happen easily. I don't know how effective it is, and it wasn't. I still don't see Apple the technology I would use to solve this problem. It's not that way. I'm still looking for something more cross-platform. But again, the final bullet point on many things is just wait and see. It's If I was looking for like a clear answer to where AI is going or where Apple is going, did they rejuvenate themselves with this keynote? It was a lot easier to watch than all the time I saw with Apple Vision Pro. I didn't like. I'm still not a big fan of Apple Vision Pro, but overall, I think it was a nice shift in direction, and you can see it felt like a sudden shift. So the question is, does this new move work out for them? So far, I'm optimistic. I thought it was a good start. How will it turn out? We'll find out. So anyway, thanks for joining the podcast and listening, and hopefully this information helps you out. And you can leave a comment. If you liked the event, you can let everyone know. Thanks a lot. Bye.